this little lot are dentist drills. This is the dentist drill I bought online, £45. Didn't have a plug on it. It said mainly checking by an electrician, which basically means it doesn't work, and after putting a plug on it, it doesn't work. But you see, this just disconnects here, and I thought we'll be able to use that head on this drill, which is my friend's drill, which had this broken head on it. This fails to grip a drill. Something's happened with this, that it won't grip properly. Normally this clip releases the drill bit, but it doesn't work. Maybe the drill slips inside when you try and use it. Anyway, then this disconnects from the shaft here rather than up here as it does on this one. So we couldn't just swap it over, but there's a couple of little screws on this in there, which releases the head. Having released the head, I've got my head on his drill, so that should be good. That's progress. And you have a foot switch, which allows you to speed up or slow down the drill. These are all my bits, and I've just been to see my watchmaker. My watchmaker has given me this. It's a button and stem. See that there? This is to go on the end of the watch movement. Get zoomed in there. So this is I said, have you got a small button and stem? Well, this isn't much different from the size of the one on it, and we're limited for space here, so I might end up making one. That's 4.5mm. So don't know exactly. I think it's possible that I can make one. Maybe it won't be square, it'll be oval or rectangular, and this will allow it to slide into the case without taking any extra room. So if I put my movement down on here, put the pinion through the hole in the dial like this, remembering of course that the pinion sticks out thicker than the watch dial, so I'll put something else underneath it as well. Okay, he tells me that I should just be able to push something and this button and stem should unpop. So he says, that little part there with a dot on it, do you see? And he put his nail across here. Ah, I see, that's what he's talking about. I think if I put some downwards pressure on this dot, hopefully this button and stem should pop out. This is not my forte. There's the dot. Very tricky. Don't want to touch this coil, that will ruin the movement. That's a dot there. Very tricky how to do this. Don't know how much force is required. I don't want to hurt anything. and obviously it's not cradled in a watch, which means I'm putting pressure on things which aren't designed to have pressure on them. Very tricky. That's got a dot on it. I seem to need this higher off the table. See, I haven't got anything good to hold this in. If this doesn't go with minimal force, that's it. There we go. That's the first time I've ever undone a button and stem, and I hope I haven't damaged anything on the movement, because if that was inside a case it would be easier. You could press it without fearing damaging anything. So that is the button and stem, and if I hold it in my tweezers by the flat piece at the end, I'm hoping that unscrews. No, I can feel that spinning in the tweezers. Don't know how I'm supposed to unscrew the plastic piece. It wants to spin round in these. Dare I use those? Yes, I can feel that's unscrewing now. So we unscrew that. We're going to try one of these. This is definitely smaller and more in keeping with the watch, but I might have to modify that button and put a something with less diameter this way, because I want to keep this watch as slim as possible. Now that that is free of its button and stem, I can actually see how good a job I did with this collar, whether this drops into it. Now if it doesn't drop into it, it actually does me a favour, because I'm thinking that I might put a lip on it using a Dremel tool, like a side cutter, so that it clips into the ring, so that you kind of put it in like that, and once it's in, it's underneath the lip, and then it will be held really securely, because obviously these holes don't seem to want to do anything. And that's just slightly smaller than the movement, so I've got enough meat on this to work with it, and that's good news. Actually, it's better that it's too tight than too loose, because I want this piece of metal to be absolutely perfect to hold this, so that it's got no movement in any direction. I'm trying to pick it up using the contact. Or there we go. as you can see, made some steps further forwards on this. Having seen my watchmaker, he advised me how to take the button stem out. That's the first time I've done it. It's maybe it looked a bit awkward on film. It was a bit awkward because it's not something that I've done before, and I'm nervous about damaging something, and the watch movement isn't held in any kind of vice or holding device that's going to make it easier for me to do such things. And the watchmaker advised me that my method for putting the glass in will be okay. I'm still waiting for my metal back from hallmarking. I'm going to go and pick it up myself from Hatton Garden in a couple of days. And now that I've got this dentist drill working, that's another thing crossed off that I needed to do. So the final thing is that I need a decent torch in order to solder this case together. That's something that I'm going to pick up in Hatton Garden as well. That's probably the most expensive outlay other than the metal. But I don't feel like I've spent money on the metal because gold is always going to be worth money. Not that I intend to melt the thing down, but it's not a loss. It's just a conversion from money to gold. And I've still got significant work ahead, but the barriers to me completing this thing are slowly coming down. So thanks for watching.